Let's go to Dunedin. The Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern was in Dunedin today to reopen the historic Law Courts. The incredible Gothic-style building was designed by Chief Government Architect, also known as John Campbell, and built at the turn of the century for £20,000. It's about $3.7 million in today's term, inflation adjusted. But the cost of building inflation has been altogether speedier. The building was at risk of being mothballed after it was deemed an earthquake risk in 2011, but after a strident local campaign and a $20 million revamp, far greater than the original cost of the building, even inflation adjusted, it's back and more impressive than ever. Our Otago Southern reporter Timothy Brown, who's been doing wonderful work for us this week, was at the opening.
A quintessential Dunedin welcome for the quintessential modern Prime Minister. Jacinda Ardern's opening of the Dunedin Law Courts was the perfect marriage between the old and the new. In her speech, she paid homage to the history of the Southern landmark, which originally opened in 1902.
While the building has been carefully strengthened and refurbished, it now beats with a new, strong heart. And everyone involved should be immensely proud of that. You have preserved a taonga. You have also updated it, and I give you my thanks for your craftsmanship and your work.
A time capsule is being buried to mark the reopening of the courthouse, and Jacinda Ardern has included a number of items inside it. At the request of sick 12-year-old Whakatane boy Malachi Agnew, the Prime Minister placed a New Zealand flag in the capsule. She also found an opportunity for humour in her offerings, placing a gift from partner Clark Gayford, which is no longer of use to her.
Personally, I've also added a bottle of South Island single malt. It's quite difficult to part with. I don't have much use for it at the moment, though. It was given to me by my partner, Clark, for my birthday in 2017. I know he doesn't know I'm putting it in there.
Ms Ardern paid tribute to those in the legal fraternity and community who fought to return services to the building. The court was relocated across town after the 2011 Christchurch earthquake. Treasury deemed the building unfit for purpose and felt the investment in the new courthouse warranted a permanent move there. But the community despised the plan, and after a vocal campaign, particularly by prominent Dunedin lawyer Anne Stevens, Cabinet recognised the importance of the building. Mrs Stevens says the reopening of the historic courthouse feels like a homecoming.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's the most historic courthouse in New Zealand, and its function performs extremely well. It works, but it's part of the integral historical aspect of our city and of New Zealand's history, so it's vital to preserving our tradition and justice.
Anne Stevens says the fight to save the court was, quote, fun, and was always going to succeed because it had to. Dunedin's legal fraternity turned out in huge numbers this afternoon to mark the reopening. The tradition dates back to 1902. A special hearing of the High Court marked the first use of the restored courthouse. The Chief Justice, Dame Sian Elias, says the efforts of the legal profession and the community to save the courthouse are commendable.
The Prime Minister said recently, or made allusion recently, to the view that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, I think it takes a great city to raise and keep a courthouse like this.
Sian Elias also singled out the efforts of Mrs Stevens. Court services will return to the building on February 5. In Dunedin, for Checkpoint, Timothy Brown.